Welcome to PASSIONEER Magazine The Podcast, where you'll hear inspirational stories, encouraging news, and in-depth interviews with authors, influencers, CEOs, and thought leaders. PASSIONEER Magazine The Podcast. Bold ideas, brave pursuits, boundless inspiration. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me here on PASSIONEER Magazine, the podcast. Welcome to the show, Jeannette.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I cannot wait to talk to you about what you do, how you do it, and how you inspire your client base. But I realize that there may be some people listening or watching that are unfamiliar with you and what you do. So first question is, tell me a little bit about yourself. What makes you you?
What makes me me? Well, my name's Jeannette Cieszykoski, as you introed. What makes me me? I was thinking about this a little bit because I was listening to your podcast and I thought, if she asks me this question, what on earth will I say? And to quote one of my clients recently, she said, I have the unique ability to validate people where they are and challenge them to act and dream bigger. What makes me me is I have a deep, deep passion for helping people love their life again and feel passionate and inspired about their life, because when we love our life and we're acting in our best self, that's when we change the world. So what makes me me is this obsession with helping people become the best version of themselves.
Oh, I love that answer. And that's one of the reasons why you're here, because you are a passioneer for your field and what you do and what you bring to your client base. So I love that. Speaking of your client base, in so many areas of our lives, we are familiar with, I want to have a connection, mind, body, and spirit. We want things to be aligned. We want things to be centered. We want things to be the best possibly frequency type things that we can possibly have, right? Like all of these words that are going around in
Yeah.
conversations lately. People just want to make sure that things are perfect for their environment. How do you do that with your client base?
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because we hear mind, body, spirit, connection, alignment a lot. And then it gets to a certain point, at least, I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, but at least for me, I was so obsessed with like Tony Robbins and reading all the personal development books and learning all the things. And yes, becoming the best version of myself. And at a certain point, I was like, I kind of overdid it. I was like, am I being myself right? Like, am I doing this right? And it was so cool when I discovered feng shui. I have a master's in landscape architecture, which led me to just original feng shui is about studying the landforms. Where's the mountains, the waters, the wind? And actually, the first form of it was burying your ancestors in a place to bring ancestral luck. So now people kind of misconstrued it and think about it with clutter and all this, but got that degree, found feng shui. And what I realized was like, oh, yes, my mind, body, soul connection and like, believing in God, believing in myself, like that's really important in the actions I'm taking and how I'm showing up. But the environment supporting me to be the best version of myself is also a major factor.
Yeah.
Setting our environment up for success to propel us forward rather than hold us back is a major thing. And we don't really, we live amongst our stuff, but I bet you if you asked your audience, like, close your eyes, walk in your front door, what's the first thing you see? They either don't know what art they have on the wall, or they're like, oh, I see clutter, I see a broken door, I see my kids' stuff everywhere. And that's in our way. Just like we want to clear our mind and clear our thoughts, we want to clear our space.
Yeah. You are so right. And I had to laugh there because I think that you would even get various answers, same household, depending on who you ask, right?
Yeah,
Because,
true.
wife, mom, she's going to see all of the, and I hate to say the negative side, but she's going to see all of the clutter, everything
Right.
that's in disarray, right? Dad or the husband is going to see the functional utilitarian things. What do you see when you walk in? The coat closet, the living room, it is amazing. And the kids are like, I just see like home, or I
Yeah.
see my favorite stuffed animal or my pet or whatever. So I love that perspective about where are you and how does that relate to how you see your space and honor that space as well. Oh, I love that. I love that.
Mhm.
Now, you use various tools when you are assisting your clients. And in using those various tools, you also give them a perspective that is practical and then one that helps them from a visionary point of view and also with feng shui influenced suggestions there as well. With someone who is trying to blend all of those things together, how do you help the person who wants to utilize your services, but they have no idea what they want? They have no idea about any of this. How do you help them start?
Ooh, good question. And I have
Okay,
to
so let me
I
so let me preface that by saying
yeah.
not the paid version, right? Because the people that are paying you, that consultation, that's a whole different form of advice. But just someone who
Yeah.
is looking for where to start,
Yeah.
like if they were looking for a blog post or something, where do they start in understanding who they are and how to explain that to you?
Who they are and how to yes. So no, it's still a heavy yes, it's still a deep question. And I have to give you compliments because I was listening to your podcast, like again, knowing I was coming on and meeting you and all of this stuff. And you're very good at facilitating, like, and thinking of these
Oh,
deeper questions. Like you're
thank
very good at
you.
this. Um, and so I love a deep question. And then my brain wants to geek out and like say all the things. But the best place to start to simplify it, because most people are overwhelmed. What I notice these days is that there's this big spectrum. And on one end, we have like woo woo, like really woo woo, really spiritual. We just sit and pray, or we sit and meditate, or we just sit and think positive. And then on the other side, it's like hustle culture, right?
Yeah.
And so people are overwhelmed because back to that question of like, am I being me right? I'm here. I have good intentions. Am I doing everything right? Okay, that's great. These go sit with yourself, turn everything off, sit with yourself and in the middle. Who is ideal me?
Yeah.
What does ideal me look like? What is he doing? What is she doing? What do they have? What's like a day in the life if you were to I love this and I don't know where I heard it, but like if you were to run into us at a coffee shop, your audience member comes up, me and you are getting coffee and they come up and they're like, "I just had the best year of my life." What would they say to us, right? The ideal day. That's a good way to think about it because I think people say, "What's my 5-year plan?" I don't even know how to tell you my 5-year plan. So if you were to tell us at a coffee shop, what happened this last year and it was the best year of your life? And then think, "Okay, I've painted that picture. Now, and my framework for everything I do is reframe, rearrange, reinvigorate your mindset. So, do you believe you can have this ideal life you just painted? Do you believe that, yeah, that it's possible to have business success and personal success? Then rearrange is the feng shui part. Is your environment set up to help you facilitate and have that ideal day? Maybe your ideal day is that you're meditating or reading the Bible. Do you have a space there for that in your house for that? Maybe your ideal you is no longer drinking alcohol. This is just an easy example, but like, so do you
Mhm.
have a speakeasy in your living room? We need to get rid of that. Like, that's not helping facilitate it. Then your habits, the reinvigorate. You have painted this ideal you picture. Are your habits aligned with where you want to go? And that will tell you where on the spectrum you are. Well, maybe I have been like sitting, hoping, and crossing my fingers on the woo woo side a little too long. Or maybe I've just been like hustling, hustling, hustling. I've lost the bigger picture of what I even want. So, where I would start for people, where I would recommend is like getting back to that center of what's the vision here?
Oh, I love that. And you're so right. It seems like we're always at one end or the other end of the spectrum. And it's like, I promise you, there's life in the middle, right? Like
Yeah.
you really can settle in the middle and be okay. So you are so right.
I think that's where fulfillment is. Middle like gets a bad rep, but actually middle is balance. People want work-life balance. I say more work-life integration because that's more a different topic for a different day, but middle is good in this case. Like
Yeah.
middle is balance, it's equilibrium, it's fulfillment.
No, I agree with you 100%. I tend to call it um work life harmony, like because there are
Mm,
so many things that are going at the same time. And the same thing with the melodies that we hear, with the songs that we hear, there tends to be more than one voice singing at a time, but they don't clash. They
mm,
harmonize, they complement,
yeah.
they one is up, one is down, and the play that they have with each other. As women, we wear so many hats, and we can't just stay one thing all of the time, and we have to find this harmony. Which leads to my next question. Thank you for saying that. And that is for high achieving women. So many times they're so used to having to make all of the decisions, and the spaces that they are in don't always reflect their personal sense of self. Uh, Peace and quiet seems to be a luxury in a world of
Mm,
chaos and that hustle and bustle, right? That hustle culture that used to be really kind of pushed on us for quite so long. For again, that high achieving woman that just wants to come home to
mm.
peace and quiet, be it that she has a family or not, but she just wants to have peace and quiet. What is maybe one thing that she needs to make sure she does that is a form of self-care, or just taking a step back, or getting to that middle ground and getting back to that zero on the scale of 0 to 100?
Yeah, for the woman who wants to have clarity when they come home or have that sense of peace when they come home, it's a really like not sexy answer, but and they're gonna and their response is probably gonna be like, oh, well, who has time for that? But it's like actually prioritizing it because clarity isn't a luxury. Peace isn't a luxury. It actually should be your standard,
Yeah.
right? Like it's important. Without clarity, everything else suffers. Without um maybe not suffers even, it's just inefficient.
Mhm.
You will be a better friend, a better partner, a better boss, a better person to yourself. Like you will feel better um if you prioritize that. And people what's very interesting is that they don't realize I used to call myself a feng shui consultant in the beginning of all this.
Mhm.
And people were like, "I don't need feng shui. You want me to rotate my couch, like paint a wall and like declutter some stuff? My business is falling apart. My relationship is falling apart." Like that's they don't see the connection. I stopped referring it to that to what I do that way, and I just tell people I help you create a successful personal life because when you have a space that helps you be rested, helps you have clarity so you problem solve more efficiently, it helps your actions go further, right? Rather than taking 10 actions to take one step forward, you take one step and it's 10 times the result. Um, it's just a priority. So I would say before you're like I just had a client reschedule, bless her, and she's like, I just helped a friend with an estate sale and somebody passed away, so we're cleaning out the house and blah blah blah. And her homework for the last 2 weeks was to clean her house, was to organize her house. And it's just really funny that like women do that. Like, and so the unsexy answer I say is like prioritize yourself. It's worse thinking about it and anticipating figuring it out than it is actually doing it. You're gonna feel so good after. It's like thinking about getting to the gym, but then when you get to the gym, you never regret a workout. So it's like just tell yourself, I'm gonna create a bedroom that is peaceful. It's about me. There's no kids stuff in there. There's no family stuff in there. It is all for me. I feel my best. I feel whatever my ideal me wants to feel. I'm gonna make that room all about me and calm so I can step away and like have my own little oasis and prioritize that before everything else sooner than later.
Absolutely. I love that answer. And yes, we as women do that. We will always sacrifice ourselves and what we're supposed to do to help a friend. I love that about us, but at the same time, sometimes it can also be to our detriment. So we do need
Yeah.
to be careful. We need to be mindful of where we are in that conversation as well. So yes. Now,
And if
yeah,
I could add something really quickly, I'm just feeling called to like also acknowledge the men here. Um, Men have different things, right? Like they're wearing different hats in their own way. And when it comes to their house, especially if they don't have a wife or a girlfriend to help them out, yes, being successful for them, like that's their focus usually. If we're speaking general terms, right? If we're going to generalize, success to them is like a big deal. It's their main focus always. But the same to them, for them to be good leaders, for them to have balance so that they're not showing up um emotionally unbalanced, right? Your personal life, to the men listening, is important as well. Like your health of working out to balance yourself. Um, because yeah, if they're running these big companies and just like the women, it's not a woman's job only to decorate her house and make it feel good. Like it's important for the man as well, who wants to be healthy, who wants to be a great partner, who wants to be a great leader. Also take the time. Yes, making money is important, but also take the time to create a space that you can zen out, feel calm, and that feel good to be in.
absolutely. Absolutely. Now, when we visit your website, I know that so many times we make sure that we've put reviews on our website because people do want to know what are other people saying about their services. And one review in particular really kind of tickled my heart a bit because she
Mm.
said that your work, what you did for her, you really made like a soul connection. What she articulated to you and the result that she had, she was just, my words now, over the moon, happy and pleased with what you did. Of course, that has to feel good. So, my
Yeah.
question to you is how do you maintain your level of work? Not what you give to the
Mm.
client, but how do you as a individual, how do you maintain that tenacity? How do you maintain that work ethic without experiencing the burnout?
Wow, what an interesting question. I didn't think that that was where that was going to go. I thought you were going to say like, how did we do it for her? How do I maintain the tenacity?
Mhm.
Ooh,
Let's make that the flip side of the coin. I like that. You can
yeah.
tell. I mean, I don't want to, make you divulge anything. And
No,
if
no, 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 no.
well,
This
but
is
of
great.
course,
I
if
love
you're
it.
if you're if you're welcome, if you're open to doing that, absolutely, I would love to hear.
Well, the tenacity, like where it comes from is I truly have a curiosity for people. So, unlike, where my work is a little bit different than therapy or just feng shui, or where it's totally different is it starts with this conversation. I know that people log in and we log on, they think we're going to I'm going to tell them, move a plant here, move a couch here, move this. And they think that that is going to be the thing that changes everything. And actually, the first like 2 hours is us just talking and me asking them why. Why do you want a family? Why do you want this raise? Why do you want a partner? And most people are so busy because, again, I'm trying to help successful people create successful personal lives so that they become better leaders and impact more people, right? And
Mhm.
most of them neglect and they do not slow down and ask, what do I want? We're so good at think of how many like influencers or coaches or just people out there helping other people. They turn on the camera and they're really good, but their personal life is falling apart behind the scenes because they're really good at holding other people accountable and they're really good at supporting people to make their dreams happen. Or like my client who you need to fix your house and you're over here helping your friend fix her house first. Which is so funny, but um, so the beginning, what's so fascinating is I just love understanding people and the brain and the choices and psychology. And so it's just a fascination in general. It's not very hard when it's what your passion is to keep that tenacity. Um, and then I love watching their brain click. I love watching them be like, oh, maybe I just always wanted that because somebody told me I wanted that. Or and so truly I like live for those conversations. Um and it can, in the beginning, I will say it was difficult because I felt this big responsibility to solve their life. And I did have to unlearn that. I would say it was harder that to keep that tenacity. Instead, it was more like, well, how do I fix, like, they're having this issue with their husband or this or this. It's like you're not really responsible for all of that. So I had to unlearn that.
Yeah.
But no, it's very easy for me to be passionate about this. It's just like who I am helping. My
Yeah.
mom said my first word was why. And all my clients now are like, sometimes you annoy me because you ask me why like 10 times in a row, but they're like, I'm so glad you did because it got to the root of what I really want. And then that's where you get reviews like, I am like so connected to my higher self again and to who I am again and my clarity again because we just slow down and prioritize that. And um, it's amazing. Yeah.
It really is. And I want to say kudos for asking the why. Because if they were seeking therapy, over on my side, counselor hat, right? That's the question that keeps getting asked because that
Mm,
peels back the layers. That's what gets down to the core of why you're experiencing what you're experiencing. Flip side for business, it's the same thing. We say, what is your why? Like, not
hmm.
the how, not the when, not the who, but what is your why? Why do you want to do what you're doing? And then everything else follows. So you are so right. When people are able to finally get down to the nitty-gritty of the answer, and boy, do we have a lot of folks that think that they want something or they're pursuing something and it isn't theirs to pursue. You're right. It was their
Yeah.
mother's wish or a grandparent's wish, or not from a legacy point of view, but just they were told to do something or they heard it so many times that they thought that that is who they needed to be, where they may excel in a totally different field. So we all have to find our theme song and walk in that. I love that you're doing that for them.
And those type of people that you speak with, I 90% can promise you that their house is filled with stuff they feel guilty holding on to. So it's like first they get clarity on that, and then it's like, do you need to, like, your grandma passes away, so your parents have it, but then they both pass away, so now it's all in your house. Why am I still holding on to this if I want to be living in Italy? Like, you gotta start getting rid of this stuff if you want to move. Or, I can walk into somebody's house, or what I do is virtual mostly. I can look at somebody's house and I will know that, oh, you're probably very indecisive. You probably have poor boundaries. You probably have a lot of guilt about something because your stuff, your external is a direct reflection of your internal. So it's getting clear on that why. And that's where therapy is fantastic. And some people who are already in therapy, they already have all these answers very quickly for me. But then, and then we look at the house. Okay, great. Now that you're so clear on you and your why, let's give your space attention with that intention. And if you're somebody who says yes to everyone else, like you're always the listener, you listen to their problems, you listen to what's going on, and you're the good friend, you probably are the person that also has everybody's like leftovers you say you're going to sell.
Yeah.
Or their hand-me-down things you're going to sell, or you're the family member that's like, yeah, I'll store it in my house. Next thing you know, you don't have a house, you're the storage locker for your family. So it's very correlated. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Oh my goodness. Now I'm laughing over here because you are so spot on, especially that last one. I've had a client go, when did I, as the big sister, become the storage for everyone? My garage, I can't park my car in there anywhere.
Yeah.
Brother has a section, my cousins have a section. There's stuff from college and high school. There's our baby stuff in there because their parents had passed away. And no one wanted to get rid of anything because they just didn't know what to do. But like you said, they didn't want to feel guilty
Yep.
because mom had held on to it all of her life for them and they didn't know what to do. And now she's frustrated because she would like to park her car in the garage because
Yeah.
she purchased that house because it had a garage. And now it's just the storage. You are so right there. And I know
Yeah.
someone right now listening or watching, they're going, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Right?
Yeah.
You can just see the light bulbs going off. I can hear someone who's in therapy going, I need to talk about this. Like, I need to call my therapist right now and say, I've had a moment of epiphany,
Yeah.
because we do not realize how much external baggage we're carrying around.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
And
it.
what's really cool about feng shui is that, like, you continue to talk to your therapist about it, continue to think through it, but sometimes those emotions take a while to release. But you
Yeah.
know what is like instantly gratifying is giving your siblings all their crap back and parking your car in your garage. That's the instant. And so it's a beautiful balance of,
Yeah.
um, because like therapy work, like it takes time. It's not instant gratification necessarily.
Mhm.
And so the feng shui is awesome because it's like, oh, I now have like a visual representation of progress.
Mhm. Well, let me ask you this then, because now I'm just naturally curious about things. Um, would you say that, or could we make 1 + 1 = 2 if the person who has a whole lot of stuff is because they don't want to feel guilty about getting rid of things? Does that mean the person who has a minimalistic type lifestyle, that they refuse to hold on to anything, like they are fearful of becoming the hoarder or being the family keeper of the gems? Is the same true, or perhaps not quite as much?
No, you're so onto something that I noticed nobody talked about, and I've mentioned it here and there very lightly, but you're very perceptive because yes, back to that, there's always a middle. There's never like one end of the spectrum is never right or wrong. A lot of people think it's all about decluttering, and I had said, one day on a random Instagram post, who knows when, the people who also have perfectly pristine, no clutter, nothing, they have their stuff too.
Yeah.
And it can be I have another woman who she had a very pristine, perfect house and she wanted to attract a relationship. And that's where it was like, in feng shui, when it's like all let's use white and gray and like true minimalism, right? Like very simple.
Mhm.
That's all metal. Metal is very strategic. It's cold. It's very get things done. And I was like, if you want to bring in warmth and love and a partner and balance, you have to bring in these other elements. We need to add a little bit pink. She's like, I'll roll over in my gray before I add pink to my house. And I was like, let's bring it in like peonies then. Or, because if that's also so many boundaries. That is
Yeah.
also a symbol of so many boundaries, not letting anybody in. Um, and most people, but not everybody, maybe they don't want a lifelong partner, but they want friendships for when they want to
Yeah.
go out. That is a warmth and that is a listening to other people. You can't always have, the rigidity and the control. When you have other people in your life, you're um supporting. So it's that. So yes, you are right that the other end of the spectrum is like over clean, over organized, over control.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do you feel everything needs to be so controlled?
Mhm. Mhm. Oh my goodness. I love that. I love that. See, this is why we have these conversations, because you just never know when someone is sharing their passion, what you get to learn. And I just learned something today. So thank you. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
it. It is a wonderful thing, because now I can actually ask some of my client base, not that I'm trying to step into your world, but those that are newly married, when we're doing premarital counseling, one of the questions I ask is, how do you expect for your house to visually appeal to you within the first year? And then I ask within 5 years. But I think now I'm going to ask the question, what do you think your style is? Are you a maximalist? Are you a minimalist? Are you traditional? Like, and have like little pictures and just ask, where do you think you fall? And that will be that would be really curious, or at least help me give some insight that if they're having some issues on a particular thing, that that's a resource that I could suggest in a way. Have you ever thought of getting assistance with this part? And that could help clear up some of this relationship stuff that you think you're having, and it's really not even between the two of you. It's that baggage that you've brought into that space, into your home, that didn't belong to you in the first place. So I love that. I love that.
Mhm.
See how we just made that
Yeah.
to a thing. I love it. I love it. Well, my last question for you is, now I know someone listening is going, yes, I want more of what you are offering. What is the best way for people to not only find you online, but also to find you on socials?
On socials, well, some they'll see this on YouTube, right? So one of these will be on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, just go over to my channel. You're already on the platform, Elemental Clarity. And if you'd like to actually talk to me and message me, Instagram is the easiest way. Elemental Clarity over there too. And there's a lot of free information that people can get started to just like dabble, right? Like, okay, what she says sounds cool, but like I don't know if I get it. Or they can just directly DM me and say, this part sounded really cool, but I want to know more about this, or does this apply, or can it help me with this? So,
I love it. I love it. Thank you again, Jeanette, for being a guest
yes.
here on Passioneer Magazine, the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Passioneer Magazine, the podcast.